On the quiet autumn night of October 31st, 1991, in Tyler, Texas, as the fall season settled in, the clock struck 2 a.m. The peaceful neighborhood of 29th Street was deep in slumber, except for a small framed house nestled at the corner, unaware that it was about to become a scene of horror. 8-year-old Chad Choice lay in his bed, lost in dreams, when an intruder silently invaded the house, snatching him away into the darkness of the night. Initially deemed a runaway incident due to lack of evidence, the case transformed into a nightmare for investigators once the crucial 48-hour window passed without any sign of Chad, who might have had the means to silently infiltrate Chad's home, spiriting him away without a trace. But the pivotal question remains: would Chad ever reunite with his family and return home? This city, Tyler, named after the 10th President of the United States, John Tyler, stands as the largest in northeastern Texas, often referred to as the Rose Capital or Rose City. Tyler earned its reputation due to its extensive history of rose production, cultivation, and processing. Each October, the city welcomes thousands of tourists. However, the October of 1991 took a dark turn as Chad Choice mysteriously vanished without a trace, casting a shadow over the usually vibrant atmosphere. Ernest Chadwick Choice, known affectionately as Chad Choice, came into the world on April 26, 1983, in Texas. He was one of the cherished 4 children in the Choice household, a beautiful soul deeply adored by his family, particularly his mother, Karen Elaine Choice. Chad was an outgoing youngster surrounded by a large circle of friends with whom he frequently played. Moreover, his strong bond and affectionate relationship with his siblings were apparent as they often enjoyed quality time together. Chad's energetic and lively nature were further evident in his regular visits to the playground. Chad had an older sister named Angela Choice, who fondly recalls that her little brother had a passion for riding bikes, scaling trees, and indulging in sports. Details about the remaining siblings were not made public. As a student at Mamie G. Griffin Elementary School, Chad's life was in its budding stage. At just 8 years old, he had his entire future ahead of him. However, fate often takes unforeseen turns, and tragically, Chad's destiny had already been sealed. The daily routine of the Choice family was shattered on the morning of October 31st, 1991. Chad's mother, Karen, rose early and went to the church without waking her children, allowing them to continue sleeping. However, just a few minutes into her church service, Karen received a phone call. It was my daughter, and she asked me if Chad was with me, and I said no, I left him at home, and she said, "Well, we've looked everywhere, and we can't find him." Karen rushed back home and began scouring the neighborhood for Chad. She sought assistance from her neighbors as well. Despite their collective efforts and their thorough search, Chad seemed to have vanished without a trace. It was as though he had disappeared into thin air. Now, it was the police's turn to investigate the matter. During his initial inspection, he looked for signs of a break-in, but there were no indications of forced entry. Moreover, there were no signs of struggle inside the house. Based on the initial investigation, he began to consider the possibility that Chad might have run away from home. However, Karen firmly believed that her son had been kidnapped. And as the sun set and the day turned into a chilly night, the tension escalated into fear. Adding to her fear, the crucial 48-hour window had passed without any signs of him. During the interview, Chad's older sister Angela Choice provided a crucial piece of information to the detective. Her house keys had disappeared the day before, and she distinctly recalled leaving them by the back door of their residence. This revelation raised additional questions, suggesting the possibility of a planned kidnapping or something even more disturbing. 2 days after Chad's disappearance, a ransom note was discovered at the business of Chad's uncle, Greg Sterling, prompting the investigation to swiftly shift focus to a kidnapping scenario. As the family attempted to deliver the money at the Greyhound bus station as instructed, the kidnapper failed to appear. Several days later, Chad's mother received an anonymous phone call revealing that Chad's disappearance was linked to a family member's drug debt with a man named Paco. Investigators discovered that Greg Sterling owed money to 3 Colombian drug dealers in the area, Paco Jr. and Carlos, shedding light on a possible motive of Chad's abduction. However, the case still remained elusive. On the 1-year anniversary of Chad's disappearance, his mother, Karen Choice, discovered a note fluttering on her car windshield. The note asserted that Chad was still alive and demanded $6,000 for his safe return. This development reignited the investigation, filling the Choice family with hope and prayers of seeing Chad again. However, the case suffered a setback when the kidnapper failed to make contact once more, causing the investigation to stall again. Time was not on their side. Slowly, years were passing by, and Chad Choice's disappearance gradually evolved into a cold case. 4 years later, in October 1995, a grocery sack appeared on the Choice family's doorstep. Initially, it seemed like a regular grocery sack. However, upon opening it, it revealed something that would haunt Karen Choice for the rest of her life. Inside the package was a human skull. The skull was subsequently sent to the FBI for analysis. DNA samples from Choice's family were collected to compare with the skull's DNA to confirm its identity as Chad's. Despite these efforts, the results remained inconclusive. Later, the skull was sent to a university in Texas for further examination, involving the expertise of forensic anthropology. The results came back, and unfortunately, Karen's worst fears were confirmed when forensic analysis revealed that the skull indeed belonged to Chad. Investigators grappled with the ruthless nature of a person who not only commits a crime, but continues to torment the victim's family for years. Despite the struggle to comprehend this, Karen all along had an unshakable feeling in her heart that she would never see Chad alive again. All she could do now was pray for justice. While Chad Choice's case grew increasingly difficult to solve, another narrative unfolded in Smith County Jail in early 1996. A man named Patrick Horn was slated to be sentenced in federal court for credit union robberies and carjacking charges. He was also charged with the murder of James Levasseur, a fruit stand owner. It became evident that Horn was destined to spend the rest of his life behind bars or even face a potential death sentence. However, this man would soon become the center of Chad's murder case. It occurred when he mentioned Chad Choice's name to the police during his time behind bars. While this might have been part of a deal to reduce his prison sentence, to the investigators, it marked the first significant breakthrough they had made in the case so far. Horn was a resident in the Choice family's neighborhood and was friends with them. During his interview regarding Chad's case, Horn informed investigators that he knew the identity of Chad's killer. As per Horn's account, Chad was murdered by 2 local drug dealers, both Colombian nationals who were known by the street names Paco and Carlos. But the case was just about to get more twisted. After Horn made the statement, he received a package in his jail cell containing a small boy's leg bone, later confirmed through analysis to be Chad's. Horn asserted to the police that Paco and Carlos had sent the package. However, detectives couldn't shake the feeling that Horn was hiding something significant about the entire story. Despite repeated questioning by the detectives, Horn consistently maintained that he had no additional information apart from Paco and Carlos being the culprits. However, on May 31st, 1996, Horn finally disclosed something more. He tells us, he says, basically, I'm a victim in this crime as well. All I did was help bury the child. I didn't have any other involvement in it, and now they're threatening me because of my knowledge of what they did. Then Horn revealed the precise location where Chad was buried. Shortly afterward, he was escorted by the police to 401 Sunnyside in Tyler, which was Horn's own backyard. At 4 p.m. that same day, the detectives began digging and discovered Chad's skeletal remains along with 38 caliber shell casings. This moment marked a sudden turn in the investigation, with all suspicions now pointed directly at Patrick Horne. Without delay, in June 1996, the investigators hurried to Athens, a city in Texas. In a jail cell there, a man sat who was anticipated to be a crucial piece of the puzzle, important in solving the case once and for all. This man was none other than Patrick Horne's brother, Keaton Horne, who was facing charges of probation violation. The detectives' suspicions were completely on point this time. With Keaton's statement, this case solidified into concrete evidence that Horne was indeed responsible for this notorious crime. Keaton admitted to digging up the bones or the leg bone and mailing it to Pat in jail and at Horne's direction, preparing the note to make it look like a threat from Paco and Carlos. An investigator explained. Horne's scheme to mislead investigators had ultimately unraveled. The solution to a seemingly unsolvable case was finally in hand. However, one question still lingered. Why did Horne kill Chad? On September 24, 1999, 8 years after Chad Choice's murder, the jury found Horne guilty in the Smith County Courthouse and sentenced him to death. However, even at the end of his chapter, Horne wouldn't cease tormenting the Choice household. Horne adamantly refused to sign the waiver allowing Chad's remains to be released to his family for a proper burial. Legally, he was required to agree to the release since the remains were evidence in his case. However, he insisted on retaining control over the fate of the 8-year-old Chad's remains. Horne did initially sign a waiver indicating his agreement to the release of Chad Choice's remains. However, the document was somehow lost between his attorney's office and the judge's office. At first deemed a mere formality, District Judge Diane DeVasto announced in a December 1999 hearing that she would order the release of 30 exhibits, including Chad's skull and other bones, to his family for burial, contingent upon Horne signing another waiver. Horne's appellate lawyer, Tommy Wilkinson of Greenville, sent the document to Horne via Federal Express, anticipating its return with the signature within a day. However, a month passed without any response from Horne. He did not reply to several letters from his attorney and ignored messages sent to him through officials at the Atlanta Federal Prison. Assistant District Attorney Ed Marty stated that if the remains were granted without the waiver, they might have to be exhumed sometime in the future. It remains uncertain when Horne eventually signed the waiver, and if he did, when he signed it. Furthermore, Horne was 17 years old when he committed the murder of Chad. According to a ruling by the United States Supreme Court, anyone under the age of 18 cannot be executed. As a result, his sentence was commuted to life in prison. While this might not have been the exact form of justice Karen Choice desired, she could finally find solace in knowing that Patrick Horne would never walk free.
In Garden Grove, Orange County, on May 21, 1987, a tragic event unfolded when 23-year-old Shannon Rose Lloyd was found lifeless in her rented bedroom. She had been a victim of severe assaults and was ultimately strangled. This case remained a mystery for years until 2003, when a significant breakthrough in forensic science connected Shannon's death to another disturbing case: the murder of 27-year-old Renee Cuevas in 1989. Renee's body was discovered not far from a Marine base in Orange County. The link between these two cases, despite being years apart and under different circumstances, marked a new chapter in the long-standing investigation. The authorities were able to connect these cases after such a long time through a breakthrough in forensic science that provided crucial evidence linking the two tragic events. Orange County, California, is a vibrant and diverse region located in Southern California. It is comprised of 34 municipalities and is renowned for its stunning beaches, world-famous surfing spots, and popular amusement parks such as Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. As a result, it has become a highly sought-after tourist destination. With a population of over 3 million people, Orange County ranks as the fifth largest county in the United States. While it generally enjoys a reputation for safety, there are certain areas within the county that experience gang activity. Against this backdrop, the cold case of Shannon Rose Lloyd and Rennie Cuevas remains unsolved, casting a shadow over this otherwise thriving county. Shannon Rose Lloyd, born in 1964, was a vibrant and adventurous 23-year-old residing in Garden Grove, California. Known for her tomboyish charm and zest for life, Shannon possessed a multifaceted personality. Her love for horses was just one aspect of her vibrant character. Although details about her work life and family background, including her parents' names, were not widely known, it was clear that Shannon's life story was still unfolding. Those who knew Shannon remember her as a free-spirited wild child, always ready for an exciting adventure. Spending time with her meant embarking on a spontaneous journey with no predetermined destination. Shannon's brother, Tom Lloyd, shared her enthusiasm for life, contributing to the dynamic energy of their social circle. According to a close friend, Shannon was rumored to be a mother to a young son, revealing a tender side to her otherwise carefree nature. Her relationship with her boyfriend was a testament to love and patience. Despite Shannon's youthful energy and reluctance to settle down, the boyfriend's unwavering devotion to her was evident. He consistently made an effort to be by her side, demonstrating his deep care for her. Shannon's close-knit group of friends included Brian Schulz, John Beckman, and Roger Fillion. They were known for their strong bond, camaraderie, and shared love for fun and music. Rennie Cuevas, born in 1960, resided in Orange County, California at the age of 27. Her family held a deep affection for her, especially her grandmother Mercedes, who lovingly referred to her as Amma. Rennie shared a close bond with her siblings Michael, Kelly, Victor, and her sister Marlene, enveloped in familial love. This love extended to her aunt Amelia, who held a special place in Rennie's heart. Unfortunately, tragedy struck as all these beloved family members have since passed away. Rennie was a devoted mother to her son, Louis Ramirez, who bore a striking resemblance to her. Louis was the center of her world, bringing her immense pride and joy. She showered him with unconditional love, ensuring he always had little gifts, candies, toys, and clothes. In Louis's eyes, his mother was his everything. Rennie possessed a striking physical beauty, with long brownish red hair and fair snow-white skin. Her smile, adorned with adorable dimples, radiated happiness. These same dimples were a charming trait passed on to Louis. Everyone around her could feel Rennie's angelic presence. One unforgettable moment was when she excitedly shared her spiritual journey of being born again, her enthusiasm making her appear like a dancing angel. Sadly, this vibrant and beautiful woman's life was tragically cut short, leaving a void in the hearts of those who loved her. In 1987, Shannon Rose Lloyd, then 23 years old, rented a room in northern Garden Grove. Her residence was situated in the 11,900 block of Donna Lane, a peaceful part of the neighborhood. The house was owned by 70-year-old Casimir Bursuk, who provided Shannon with accommodation. It was an ordinary dwelling in a typical Orange County suburb, where tranquility was expected in everyday life. However, on May 21st of that year, an unimaginable tragedy shattered the serenity of this community. Casimir Bursuk, Shannon's landlord, made a horrifying discovery. He found Shannon's lifeless body in her room, a sight that no one, including himself, was ever prepared to witness. Casimir, overwhelmed with shock and a sense of urgency, hurriedly made his way to a neighbor's house, desperately seeking assistance. His primary objective was to immediately contact the authorities and report the horrifying scene he had stumbled upon. The police were promptly summoned to the location, initiating a lengthy and intricate investigation into the untimely demise of Shannon. This particular day marked a pivotal moment, not only for Shannon's loved ones, but also for the criminal history of Orange County. The tranquility of the neighborhood was forever disrupted by this tragic event. 2 years later, another heart-wrenching incident unfolded in Orange County. In the early hours of February 19, 1989, a disturbing discovery was made near the El Toro Marine Base along Lambert Road. It was there that the lifeless body of Rennie Cuevas, a 27-year-old woman, was found. This grim revelation was made by an anonymous individual who, upon encountering such a distressing sight, promptly notified the police. The area surrounding the El Toro Marine Base, typically associated with the disciplined lives of military personnel, suddenly became the focal point of a criminal investigation. The peacefulness of the early morning was shattered by the flurry of police activity as they arrived to unravel the intricacies of this tragic incident. Renee's death, occurring just 2 years after Shannon's, added another layer of sorrow and enigma to the Orange County community. The close proximity of these two cases, both in terms of time and geography, gave rise to numerous questions and concerns. The serene and orderly atmosphere of the area was once again overshadowed by the darkness of an unresolved crime, leaving the community and Renee's loved ones in a state of shock and sorrow. Immediately following the discovery of Shannon Rose Lloyd's body, the police initiated an extensive investigation into her untimely demise. They soon uncovered the distressing details. Shannon had been brutally assaulted and strangled in her own bedroom. The revelation had a profound impact on the community, intensifying the already tragic nature of the event. Shannon, described by neighbors as an attractive and petite woman, was known to be a mother and had a boyfriend who frequently visited her. However, there were occasional sightings of questionable individuals at her residence, adding complexity to the case and expanding the potential pool of people who may have been involved or had knowledge of her final moments. Interestingly, the police had been called to Shannon's residence on 3 separate occasions before, though the reasons behind these visits remained unclear. Furthermore, neighbors reported a high incidence of burglaries in the area during that time. Surprisingly, there was no evidence of forced entry into Shannon's house, and no belongings seemed to be missing. This lack of disturbance at the crime scene suggested that the perpetrator may have been familiar with Shannon or her home. Despite these details, the investigation reached a standstill, with no clear suspects or leads. Shannon Rose Lloyd's case went cold. When Renee Cuevas' body was discovered, the police immediately launched a parallel investigation to Shannon's case. The circumstances surrounding Renee's death bore a chilling resemblance to Shannon's. She too had been brutally assaulted and strangled. This disturbing similarity indicated a possible pattern, raising concerns for both the investigators and the community. However, the investigation into Renee's death faced significant challenges. Like Shannon's case, there were no obvious leads or suspects to pursue. The lack of evidence and witnesses left the police with limited avenues for exploration. As a result, it became increasingly difficult to reconstruct the events leading up to Renee's tragic demise. Over time, the investigation lost momentum. The available clues led to dead ends, and the trail of the perpetrator went cold. In a surprising turn of events, a significant breakthrough occurred in 2003 for the cold cases of Shannon Rose Lloyd and Renee Cuevas. Law enforcement's persistence led to the reopening of Shannon's case nearly 2 decades after her death. With advancements in forensic technology, the DNA evidence from the crime scene was entered into CODIS, the Combined DNA Index System. This national database for DNA profiles offered hope in solving these long-standing mysteries. The CODIS results reveal a shocking truth. The DNA from Shannon's case matched that from Renee's murder, indicating the same person was responsible for both crimes. Despite this crucial evidence, the killer's identity remained unknown, requiring further investigation. The breakthrough finally came in 2021 when the DNA evidence from both cases underwent forensic genetic genealogy. This innovative method, combining DNA analysis with genealogical research, marked a new phase in the investigation. Through this detailed process, a potential suspect was identified. Reuben J. Smith, the perpetrator in the cases of Shannon Rose Lloyd and Renee Cuevas, was born on December 11, 1959, in Michigan. Despite his connections to the community in the 1980s, much of Smith's background, including his childhood, education, and personal life, remained a mystery. Even the identities of his parents were unknown, leaving gaps in his early years. In the 1990s, Smith relocated to Las Vegas, Nevada. Following the relocation to Las Vegas, Nevada, Reuben J. Smith's criminal activities eventually led to his arrest in July of 1998. He was taken into custody by the police on charges of inhumane assault and attempted murder of a woman. This arrest marked a pivotal moment as it brought Smith's actions under legal scrutiny. Despite the dismissal of the charges against him, Smith tragically took his own life in November of 1999 using a firearm in Las Vegas. This sudden end to his life left many questions unanswered. However, through DNA evidence obtained from Smith's previous arrest, a crucial link was established. The DNA profile from Smith matched the male DNA found at the crime scenes of Shannon Lloyd and Rennie Cuevas, revealing the truth. Reuben J. Smith was the perpetrator behind the murders of both women. The confirmation of Smith's involvement in these crimes brought closure to the long-standing mystery surrounding their deaths. The resolution of the cold cases of Shannon Rose Lloyd and Rennie Cuevas provided a deep sense of closure to their families, who had endured years of unanswered questions and unresolved grief. Yolanda Liu, Rennie's cousin, came forward to express sincere gratitude towards the police and all those involved in the investigation. Additionally, Garden Grove Police Chief Amir El Farah issued a statement. As we conclude the investigation into the unsolved cases of Shannon Rose Lloyd and Rennie Cuevas, two significant inquiries arise. Is there any possibility of a different approach that could have expedited the resolution of these cases? And what valuable insights can we extract from their narratives to assist forthcoming investigations?